You are listening to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Let's jump first into cryptocurrencies as we always start. We're on the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. What do we see going on? Well, we see a sideways slide. We saw where things moved down for, really 2 weeks pretty much. And then once they hit the spot somewhere around, what is that, the $25,500 mark, just sort of slipping along sideways around that $25,000, $26,000 mark. We saw a small green candle last week. If you can believe it, that is the candle this week. A little red something there, hard to see. We can see on the 2-day chart where things moved up for 8 days and then down for 2. But again, never clawing back up anywhere near where just the drop itself started. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for something to get straightened out in Bitcoin. Now, if it starts taking off this weekend, moving back up again, then maybe this green candle is the start. But look at the volume down here. Nothing to look at when it comes to volume. You saw it peak here. That's the most recent high. You saw it really jump up here. So what is that showing us? Each time it jumps up above average, you notice that portends the strong up move. You also notice what? That when this up move really starts, it's a green up candle. Well, here it's not. You've got a little bit of movement on the bottom. But in these other two, there's a tiny little bit on the bottom there also. But primarily green up candles. So not dojis, not spinning tops with higher than average volume. So we've seen that on all three of the kick up moves this year, where Bitcoin started somewhere around the $16,000 mark. And of course reached its high somewhere around the $30,000+ mark. Now it's around the $25,000, $26,000 mark. So maybe we can be watching for that. And if things really do kick off higher than average volume with a green up candle, maybe a little wick on the bottom, maybe not, that might tell us that in fact the latest up move is starting. However, this last up move, it pretty much peaked that same week and then just slid sideways and down. So hopefully we will have maybe something a little more like the one that started the year off. We shall wait, we shall watch, we shall see. Let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum still moving down, friends. Hasn't crossed over yet. You can see this weak. Let's zoom in there. You can see again where, again, just red down candles. Now, maybe we'll see some penetration and some up move going green. Again, that last up move, we saw a high volume there where things took off. Not much there. Green spinning top where it took off before. We saw, going all the way back to 22. Really high volume where it took off. But then look what it did here. Would have just strangled you like a baby in a crib. That's not beautiful. So again, for us to trade anything, we've got to have discernible patterns. And it is very hard with these cryptocurrencies. I didn't choose to do this. You guys asked me to. So I'm trying to find you something. It is very hard. Now, what do we see going on with the top 10 cryptocurrencies? The Bitwise 10 Crypto Index Fund. Top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share. So Bitcoin's the big boy here. You can just sort of see a sideways slide. Nothing happening. No breakout. We're just sort of hanging by. Okay, we're going to leave cryptocurrencies and go on to commodities. Let's take a look at the gas fund. We saw it had been going up and then down and then trying up and then down again. Look at all that volume last week. And of course, after that, rolling on over. You can see that somebody was getting out. Lots of volume there. Somebody was buying, somebody was getting out, and it rolled over. Perhaps maybe as the insiders getting out as we see gasoline rollover. What about Oil itself, well, it slowed down substantially. We see on the 2-day, we got 4 days of lots of indecision going from a green doji to a red doji, pushing through the weekly trend line. Very small candle here. Maybe oil is weakening significantly, getting ready to move down. What about wheat? Wheat just keeps on going down. Corn, same thing. Corn really dropped for 3 weeks up to about mid-August, and then slowly but surely keeps moving down. Sugarcane, well, it had 4 weeks of a nice climb and now blown through that weekly trend line. Tell you that maybe something's going on in the world economy. Look at soybeans. Soybeans tried to peak up in August and then rolling down in September. That's about all I got for you when it comes to commodities. What about currencies? Tell you what, my friends, after things tried to jump up in July, currencies, this is the euro, rolled over and just keep pounding down. Check out the Swiss franc, really hammering down over the last several weeks, accelerating in those down moves. And what about the Japanese yen? Same kind of thing, just keeps on moving down. So lastly, we'll take a look at the Canadian dollar. We talked about this. Well, it's the Canadian, and let's see, it was the Australian. Yeah, we see the British pound. Did I leave out the pound this time? I did. It's going down too. But the Canadian dollar, we saw it trying to turn around and move up. Australian dollar was a little cousin trying to move up, but of course, it's crashed over, going down this week. So that is where we are. Everything across the board in commodities weak, not seeing much in cryptocurrencies. And of course, you can see in world currencies, everything losing against the dollar. Not looking pretty at all. Even that Canadian dollar, the only one showing us some real strength, slowing down and dying on the vine perhaps this week. That is where we are. Always love to bring you our charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. It's always nice to see some real world stuff. Get away from stocks and ETFs and move into things like commodities, currencies, cryptos. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.